You know, I should really put that animation course I took to use. What to animate? Well, this ought to be fun. Ah yes, D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. Or as my parents like to call it, the game that makes you go crazy and jump into the middle of the street because you think you're an invincible wizard. Personally, I use this as an excuse to expand my ever-growing hoard of shiny bits of plastic make pretty click-clack noises. So I started playing D&D about 4 or 5 years ago when a friend of mine asked me what I was doing that Saturday, to which I replied, nothing. In reality, it was because I had nothing better to do. At first, when he asked me if I wanted to join D&D, I was very on the fence about it, thinking things like, am I really going to stoop to that level of nerdom? But there are so many rules. Do I really gotta do math? And lastly, but what will my parents think? Anxieties aside, D&D is pretty fun. And dare I say it, I love Dungeons and Dragons. So sit back, relax, pull up a chair, and let me tell you a tale that involves a group of colorful characters. Our story begins on the continent of Alaceid. In the Annex territory lies a small, restless village known as Ryodan. Within this village lies a shabby, run-down tavern/inn known as the Rising Star, and it is here that paths converge and the fates align to bring forth this era's brave, new, I roll to pick our pockets. Meet Angel, the party's tiefling, rogue/bard. And this mustached wall of meat, eating meat, getting their pockets picked, is Marigan Hearthkeeper Throckmorton, a very capital-hungry Goliath monk. My player's trying to kill me? Shortly after this scene unfolds, in walks Callie, a kitty cat fighter. And no, Callie is not a tabaxi. She's a kitty cat fighter, who is promptly given water, sits down, on a table, falls asleep, like a cat. Yeah. Finally, last to enter the fray is the party's voice of reason, Daryl, a pale-skinned elven monk who is quite young for an elven monk. A few moments of role-playing go by where each party member is doing their respected activities, when suddenly bursting through the door is 3 large, burly orcs. Pointing to the tavern keep, the middleest orc exclaims, "Garen, your rent is due." To which Garen anxiously exclaims, "But I've already paid my rent for this year." "Heh, the boss don't see it that way." And at that, the orc on the right tosses some kind of veil, as it shatters, fire erupts in the corner of the tavern. Garen immediately starts escorting tavern-goers out of the burning building. Daryl immediately springs into action and begins attacking the closest orc. A skirmish breaks out. Daryl and Angel fight side by side, punching, thwacking, and stabbing the ruffians in turn. Meanwhile, as the tavern burns down, Morgan happily enjoys a nice turkey leg, and Callie hides in the corner away from the fire until an exit is presented. At this time, one of the orcs notices Mardigan eating the turkey leg, and decides that they want that leg for themselves. The orc pins the leg to the wall and rushes over to the perturbed Goliath. Morrigan, who is absolutely livid, takes her hand axe and cleaves right in between the orc's eyes, yanks her meat off the wall, and sits back down. There is a resounding crack as Daryl and Angel knock out the remaining 2 orcs and gesture for the other 2 party members to evacuate. Begrudgingly, Morrigan concedes, while Callie books it out of dodge. Upon leaving the crumbling tavern, an awkward attempt to console the grieving Garen is made, when suddenly a shady yet well-dressed figure with a crooked smile approaches the party. "Well, well, well, isn't this a fine mess you've made?"